Have you ever seen a headline so shocking you just had to know more? Maybe it was something like, "You won't believe what this celebrity wore on the red carpet," or "This one simple trick will change your life forever." Well, this is clickbait. In simple terms, clickbait is a special kind of headline or image. It's designed to make you curious. It grabs your attention and makes you want to click the link to see the full story. The main goal isn't always to give you good information. Honestly, the goal is just to get your click and bring you to a website, which helps that website make money from ads. It's a powerful tool in the world of online marketing. The power of clickbait really lies in a simple psychological trick. It creates something called a curiosity gap. This is the space between what we know and what we want to know. The headline gives you a small piece of a puzzle. It teases you with a hint of a surprising or emotional story, but it leaves out the most important detail. Your brain naturally wants to fill in that missing information. It feels like an itch you need to scratch. That feeling is so strong that you often click without even thinking about whether the content will be valuable or truthful. It plays on our basic human need for answers and closure. Think of it like a movie trailer. A good trailer shows you exciting moments from the film. It introduces the characters and hints at a big conflict, but it never tells you how the movie ends. It leaves you hanging, wanting more. Clickbait headlines work in the exact same way. They are the digital trailers for articles, videos, or photo galleries. They promise a big reveal, a shocking secret, or an emotional payoff. The promise is really what drives the action. The headline, "A man opened this old box and what he found inside will amaze you," is a perfect example of this technique in action. So why do people create clickbait? The answer is simple: attention. In the vast, crowded space of the internet, everyone is competing for your eyeballs. Getting a click is the first step to success for many online businesses. Each click translates into a page view, which increases the website's traffic. Higher traffic means the site can charge more for advertising space. In this digital economy, your attention is the currency. Clickbait is one of the most effective, though sometimes controversial, ways to earn that currency. It's a shortcut to getting noticed in a very noisy world, turning your curiosity directly into revenue for the publisher who caught your eye. The story of modern clickbait really took off in the early 2010s. This was a time when social media was just exploding. A new kind of website emerged, built for sharing. Sites like BuzzFeed and Upworthy became masters of this new art form. They understood that the internet wasn't just about finding information anymore. It was about sharing experiences and emotions. They created content that was easy to digest, highly emotional, and perfectly packaged for platforms like Facebook. Their headlines were the secret sauce. They didn't just describe the content, they sold it with an emotional hook that was almost impossible for users to ignore. These pioneers perfected the formula for viral content. They used lists, quizzes, and heartwarming stories, but the headline was always the most important part. They discovered that headlines that triggered strong emotions, like awe, anger, or happiness, were more likely to be shared. A headline like, "This video of a dog welcoming a soldier home will make you cry," isn't just a description, it's an emotional command. It tells you how you are supposed to feel, and it dares you to find out if it's true. This approach turned ordinary articles into must-see events, spreading like wildfire across social networks as people shared the emotional journey with their friends. The mechanics of this viral spread are fascinating. When someone shares an article with a clickbait headline, they are also sharing the curiosity. Their friends see the headline and feel the same pull. This creates a chain reaction, a domino effect of clicks and shares. It's social proof in action. If your friend found something interesting enough to share, it must be worth looking at. BuzzFeed, for example, became famous for its quizzes like, "What city should you actually live in?" The headline creates a personal question, and the act of sharing your result becomes a form of self-expression, further fueling the cycle of engagement. This era cemented clickbait's place in digital marketing. It showed that the headline was more important than ever before. It wasn't just a label, it was the engine of traffic. Content creators and marketers everywhere took notice. They started adopting these techniques for their own blogs, products, and services. The internet became flooded with headlines promising shocking secrets and life-changing revelations. While this drove incredible amounts of traffic, it also started to create a problem. People began to feel tired, and sometimes even deceived by headlines that promised more than the content could actually deliver. A new challenge was emerging. Clickbait is not just about serious-sounding news, it can also be used for fun. April Fool's Day has become a major event for brands to use clickbait in a playful way. On this day, companies release fake product announcements with outrageous headlines to get people talking. For example, in 2025, steak company Omaha Steaks announced a fake series of romance novels. The prank generated a lot of buzz online. People clicked to see if it was real, and the company used that attention to promote its actual products. It's a clever way to use the mechanics of clickbait for harmless fun and marketing, turning a moment of surprise into brand engagement. Celebrity news is another area where clickbait thrives. Headlines often exaggerate a story to make it sound more dramatic than it is. A simple comment can be twisted into a major scandal. However, public figures are starting to fight back. In April 2025, after winning a historic championship, wrestler John Cena directly challenged the media. At a press conference, he called their questions clickbait and refused to give them the dramatic sound bites they wanted. This was a powerful moment. It showed that celebrities are becoming more aware of how their words are used to generate clicks, and are no longer willing to play along with the game. This pushback isn't just coming from individuals, it's also coming from the platforms themselves. Companies like YouTube and Facebook know that if users feel tricked too often, they will lose trust. In late 2024, YouTube announced it was cracking down on clickbait, especially in news content. The platform began removing videos with misleading titles or thumbnails that didn't match the video's content. This was a significant step. It sent a clear message to creators that prioritizing user experience and honesty was becoming more important than just getting a click at any cost. The goal is to build a more trustworthy online environment. These actions show a growing tension in the digital world. On one hand, clickbait is a proven way to get attention. On the other hand, it can erode trust and frustrate users. Brands use it for pranks, the media uses it for celebrity stories, and creators use it to grow their channels. But the audience and the platforms are becoming more sophisticated. They are learning to recognize the tricks and are starting to demand more honesty. This creates a challenging balancing act for marketers who need to capture attention without alienating the very people they are trying to reach. The rules of the game are slowly changing. So, after all this history, debate, and change, is clickbait still important in marketing today? The answer is yes, but its form is evolving. The blatant, misleading headlines of the past are becoming less effective. Audiences are wiser, and platforms are stricter. However, the core principles behind clickbait, creating curiosity, triggering emotion, and making a promise, are still fundamental to good marketing. Today's successful marketers don't necessarily use deceptive tricks. Instead, they craft headlines that are genuinely intriguing and follow through on their promise with high-quality content. The goal is shifting from a cheap click to earning genuine interest. The modern version of clickbait is more subtle and sophisticated. It focuses on creating real value. For instance, a headline might read, "We analyzed 10,000 social media posts. Here's what we learned about engagement." This headline still creates a curiosity gap and promises valuable information, but it is specific and credible. It's less about a cheap trick and more about offering a real reward for the click. Brands are learning that building a loyal audience requires trust. A single click gained through deception is not as valuable as a long-term follower gained through honesty and providing real insights that help the reader. Furthermore, the rise of celebrity and user pushback means that transparency is more important than ever. When public figures like John Cena call out clickbait, it empowers consumers to be more critical of the media they consume. This forces marketers to be more accountable. The most successful campaigns today often blend intriguing hooks with authentic storytelling. They understand that you can capture attention without resorting to manipulation. The focus is on starting a conversation and building a community, rather than just driving traffic to a web page filled with ads. Trust is the new metric for success in the digital space. In conclusion, while the term clickbait often has negative connotations, its spirit lives on in a more refined form. The wild, anything-goes era of the early 2010s is behind us. Today the challenge is not just to get the click, but to earn it. Marketers must use the timeless tools of curiosity and emotion responsibly. They need to craft headlines that are not only compelling but also honest. The future of digital marketing belongs to those who can capture attention while also delivering on their promises, proving that the most valuable click is the one that leads to a meaningful and trustworthy experience for the user.